I think it's kind of crazy how quickly luxuries turn into necessities. Like until last week, I'd never used a bidet, but now I can't brush my teeth without one.
Oh.
Yeah. You know, like it just, even if I wet the toothbrush for like a minute, it still feels dry unless my asshole's also wet. I don't know why. The opposite is also true though. Like challenges really quickly turn into routine. That just happens. Like I remember when I was 20 years old, I was living at a Zen monastery and the master told us not to masturbate because it was a waste of spiritual energy. And it was so difficult for me at the beginning because I was barely past puberty. I was at the height of my sexual melody. I was about to hit the crescendo, you know? Yeah. Doo-doo-doo. That's my sexual melody. Doo-doo-doo. In and out, I just came. Doo-doo-doo. But yeah, like at the beginning it was so difficult, and then after a few weeks, you know, I could not masturbate in my sleep. I just, you know, wet dream. I was always a little bit mentally, right said Fred. I was always a little bit like, I wasn't crazy, but I had ADHD, depression, Tylenol PM, Sex Workers Anonymous, all those things. And I used to wonder whether the depression was nurture or nature, because both of my parents have it, but also my dad kind of raised me that way. Like, he didn't give me a stuffed Winnie the Pooh, he gave me a stuffed Eeyore, like a suicidal ass donkey, you know? The tail was pinned on, so I think they did that so he could hang himself with his own tail. And it was one of those talking toys, so when I would squeeze it, it would say, "Nobody likes me." Yeah. My mom also used to like lose me everywhere. Museums, shopping malls, wide open fields, everywhere. Yeah. I have a fear of abandonment now. I live in this like Chinatown, tiny little apartment, and the hallway kind of curves, so I get like really scared, not scared, but I get needy when my wife, like I'm locking the door and we're leaving, and she walks around the curve in the hallway and I can't see her. I'm like, Mom! I mean, Mom I'd have sex with. Yeah. But I also didn't get along with the Jewish community growing up like that. That was a big part of my psyche. And I'm Jewish. I took an ancestry test that said I'm 98% Eastern European Jew and I'm 2% Northeastern European Jew. That's what I'm biracial. I know. It's pretty cool. I remember when all my Jewish friends, their parents told them not to play with me anymore because I brought chicken parm to lunch at the synagogue. You know, I'm like, Chaim, try it, it's delicious. Just, come on, man, it doesn't even make sense. The rule is, do not cook a calf in its mother's milk. And chickens don't make milk, okay? So just eat it. And don't tell your mom. And of course, Chaim told his fucking mom. We weren't friends anymore. And I went looking for a new culture. And I remember watching Saturday morning cartoons. I saw some Dragon Ball Z. Yeah. And I was like, I want that to be my culture, you know? Get so angry you turn German. That seems... Third Reich! But then I realized it was Japanese. And I was like, that's cool too. So I went looking for a Japanese martial arts gym near me, and the closest thing I could find was Brazilian martial arts. They have capoeira, which is like dance fighting. You know, you make your opponent want to fuck you instead of fight you. But then I would be practicing on the way home from school, and there would be pedophiles like peeking out from trees. following me home. And I'm like, what the fuck? This martial arts created the problem it was meant to solve. So I quit that, did some karate, I won a tournament, I was getting good, and I was like fantasizing. I remember the day I won the tournament, I was like, okay, this is gonna be my revenge. And all my Jewish friends' parents, you know, they're gonna see me on TV in the UFC one day. They're gonna hear my name coming out to the ring, the circumciser. All my fans are like, snap him, snap him. That'll be the day. Then I started getting brain damage, getting hit in the head too much, too little. And I quit. And I was getting these terrible migraines for hours and hours after class. The only way to make them go away was by watching the Gilmore Girls on mute with my eyes closed. That was the only way I could do it. I don't know why that would help. And they didn't go away after I stopped martial arts. And I was taking Ritalin too. I was taking that children's meth. Flintstones crack, baby! From age 6 to 16. And it's not healthy for a kid to be on speed that long. That consistently monitored by nurses and parents. You gotta take your meth, come on! You don't wanna forget. So I stopped doing the Ritalin. I told my parents, that's enough. I'm tired of shivering when it's hot out. So I stopped doing every drug. I stopped doing everything for a few years. And then I got to college and I was like, all right, do a little weed, do a little smoke, do a little mushrooms. If you've done mushrooms, you know they work exponentially. Like you take 1/8, you talk to God. You take 2/8, you realize you're a God. You take 3/8, you realize everything is God. And you take 4/8, you realize you don't understand fractions. That's the breakthrough, the real breakthrough. What should I leave you on? I'm not depressed anymore. I've evolved past it, yes, to anxiety, to being anxious, yeah. At least that's what my therapist tells me on our podcast that I record without his consent. It's called No Copay. Don't follow it. If it gets too popular, he'll find out. And I'll ask for part of the Patreon. All right, thank you so much, guys.